Policy Fellow at the Oxford Internet Institute, Chief Executive of AI for the People, a charity that focuses on responsible AI. Thanks for coming back on the programme, Mutale. So just explain, first of all, what Chat GPT and other large language models are and do.
Okay, so large language models operate right now much like Google. As you were saying in your monologue, we're all very, very familiar with putting a prompt into a message bar. And then typically Google has given us 10 links, blue links, and then we can click into them. Where ChatGPT moves us forward is that you can actually get into a conversation with the machine. So instead of just being given the links, I know as a researcher, I'm doing a PhD at Cambridge University right now, and I actually am using ChatGPT in my research to, for example, analyze large Excel spreadsheets. I will just put inputs and say, I want to know the relationship between column A and column B. That's completely different because I'm able to get into a conversation with the language model because it will ask me more questions.
Right.
Do you want to know if this is bigger? Do you want to know if this is smaller? How do you want me to break up the data? And that's where the idea that we're working with machines really comes from.
Do you trust the answers that you get from it? Let me ask a better question. Like a large language model. I'm learning. Do you trust it implicitly when it gives you an answer?
So unfortunately, I cannot, and this is not to call out any other of our great universities in the United Kingdom, but the university that I am studying at certainly has a huge premium on us getting things right all the time. Again, I'm not making fun of you, but I kind of am. And the issue that you'll have, the issue that I have with ChatGPT. So for example, last week I was looking for, I was looking for some information around the Southport riots, and I wanted to know what one thing on social media had been said versus another thing on social media. ChatGPT completely made something up. It told me that there were, and I might get this wrong because I did make a note.
Don't let the university know. Go on, sorry.
I know, right? I'll get thrown out, right? But Muzo Christians, and I was pretty sure that there is no such religion as Muzo Christianity. And so when I asked ChatGPT, what's the Muzo Christian? It said, I don't know. I just generated this.
Right.
So
that's weird.
It was very weird.
So how do you see this, whether it's a large language model that you are using in education, or indeed that is being used in education already, how do you see it advancing, changing, and therefore what jobs or what industries do you think are most susceptible to most radical change because of it?
Well, I think you made a really good point in marketing, actually, in the sense that the reason I was using it in my personal work was to look at a large spreadsheet. And that was work that could have taken me up to 3 months to try and do the hand analysis. And to be able to have this conversation in real time was really helpful. The difference, though, is when I do hand analysis or other people do hand analysis, yes, we make mistakes, but we typically just don't make up our own facts. So yes, it's going to help us, for example, do very light analysis more quickly. What's the relationship between A and B? But you're still going to need to have a human being going back in. So I think our jobs will shift. I think instead of data entry, we're going to be looking at validating outputs.
Yeah.
And you're going to need more skills for that validation piece.
And the argument goes, much like the advent of the printing presses or the end of bank tellers, for instance, more jobs will be created in these new industries than the jobs that will be lost by the new industries. Do you think that's a reasonable thing to conclude?
That's exactly it. And even sometimes we create new technologies and then we decide people do them better. I think there's a really interesting study going on around self-checkout. And apparently self-checkout does not save supermarkets money. And the reason that it doesn't save supermarkets money is that we can't use self-checkouts. So they end up having to hire more people to come to us at self-checkout to tell us how to get our bags or our change or our receipts or whatever. And it's cheaper just to have a person checking you out.
Yeah.
Plus, for the customer experience, some people like going to their local Sainsbury's and knowing who's behind, checking them out. And so there is this rollback where technology cannot really fill the gaps of person-to-person interaction. So I think it's going to be a hybrid. I think we would be fools not to use it. I also think we would be fools to let our children, as they're learning, use it for their homework.
Really good to talk to you. Thank you for coming on. Mutale Nkonde, visiting policy fellow at Oxford Internet Institute, chief executive at AI for the People, a charity that focuses on responsible AI.